Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. It is the final FM22 tactic, and today we are going to show you, as you can see up on the screen, I put this tweet out last week, just showing you the tactic that I'd kind of mashed together for my Newell's Old Boys here. Basically, I've got three exceptional central midfielders, and I thought, right, instead of trying to do a philosophy and copy a Bielsa like I had done previously with this Newell's Old Boys save, I wanted to just go based on vibes, and I thought, right, let's get our best three players into position, in the positions that they're best at, central midfield and attack. Let's get two sitters in there, sat behind them, so they can protect the midfield, stop counter-attacks. Let's play a little bit narrow with our back four. Allow them three and the central striker, who's an absolute goal machine, go and win us the league. We came very, very close. Undefeated in the closing stage, finishing second with 94 points, but it still wasn't enough. River Plate got over 100, but considering we were predicted to finish 13th, it shows that the tactic has done very, very nicely. Now, I know a lot of you may be here for the FM23 giveaway, but you're going to have to just wait a little bit longer for that. Okay, so make sure you stay tuned. Let's go and dive into today's tactic video, the last one of FM22, the one tactic to rule them all. Okay, so here it is. It's a 4-2-3-1. As I said, I've got three players in Sforza, Castro and Sakira that we've been playing kind of rotated. A lot of the time we've been playing this 4-1-4-1 with a half-back, two inverted wingers, and then two the central midfielders on attack. And I was just getting a little bit of a few players unhappy about the rotation. So I thought, right, we needed a plan B, because you always need two tactics in FM. You can't just go purely based on one. I like to swap it around when I notice just a little bit of dip in form. So I thought, right, let's just play on vibes and let's get our best players in the best positions. Not do any player instructions, just let them play. Get into the box, play a little 1-2s. Third man runs is massive in this as well. And then let's just make sure we have two protectors. All right, so we've got sweeper keeper on attack, two wing backs sitting narrower as their player instructions. The idea was that we just consider a few more too many goals with the 4-1-4-1, and in particular with this tactic as well. We don't ask them too much in terms of, because we've struggled in full-back areas, I've not asked them to do much. I'm not expecting them. They do get round and do a little bit of an overlap at times. They offer support in wider areas, even though we've got sit narrow on. It does help when we lose the ball if they're just a little bit narrow, and it does help the two centre-halves in terms of getting that back four a little bit closer together. Okay, so those are the wing backs. Supporting the two central defenders, two ball-playing defenders on defend, no player instructions. Sosa, we've just got him as a DM on support. Basically, the job of him is just to kind of not get into the box. These three will attack the box at all times, but we're literally getting him to camp at the edge of the area. Any loose balls coming out, strikes from the edge of the area. The most interesting one is the halfback. I got asked this a couple of times in the Discord and in on the Twitter comments. Does he still drop in? And the answer is yes, because normally you expect a halfback to be a single pivot, but what I am finding, he gets into these areas here, and he does get in to make the middle of the back three, which then does allow the two wing backs to push forward a little bit. So yes, don't worry, even though it is in a double pivot, it does drop in to make the back three, which really helps obviously with build up. The three central midfielders on attack, no player instructions, and it's just good to see. We'll watch a few little highlights in a minute. We'll just watch a few little highlights of how they link. One sometimes comes in short, one sort of like goes into a half space, and one often goes on that third man run, or even two third man runs. And then when you've got Marin as well linking the play coming off, it leaves a little gap in for one of your central midfielders to attack it. It looks really, really good. Okay, and then Marin up front, shoot more often, tackle harder, mainly because I want him to work a little bit. I want him to put himself about. He's got good stamina as well, and he is a goal machine, so I want him to shoot as much as possible. All right, FM23 time. Okay, so basically, to enter, two things you've got to do for me. In the comments down below, you need to tell me which manager or which football team's tactics you would like me to cover first in FM23. If you weren't aware, a lot of the stuff that I kind of do is I try and give you a foundation of how a current manager or a past manager. We have done things like Zeman, Arrigo Sacchi, etc. in the past. But all I want you to do is let me know a manager's style or a team from a particular season, with what you'd like to see me cover first in FM23. Put that down in the comments, and that enters you in. That's the first part. The second part is you need to make sure you are subscribed to the channel, because if you're not and you win, I will not be sending you that code for FM23. All right, so 2 things. Get yourself subscribed and let me know down in the comments what manager, what team you would like me to cover as a tactic video first in FM23. All right, let's get back to today's video. Okay, so in the team instructions, we've got positive mentality, shorter passing, higher tempo. I did have this on extreme tempo and trying to create a bit of mayhem with the Bielsa ball, but I've just dropped it on to higher. Just helps us retain possession a little bit better. Underlap left, underlap right. We're trying to get like Rame and Nadlin, who are my 2 wing backs. We're trying to get them into wider areas still, which they do. And then we're asking those runs of Sakira naturally and Castro Sforza to really get in those sort of like half spaces in between the centre of the pitch and the penalty box to break into the area. Work the ball into the box as much as we can. We still cross, but because we were sort of like a single man centre forward, we don't want to launch balls in constantly. We've got them central midfielders. I want it passed in there, those little sort of like diagonal passes, little straight runs from those central midfielders. That's what we're trying to create. Be more expressive. Allow them 3 central midfielders to play a little bit more. Allowing them to, as I said, play off vibes earlier on the video. Attacking width wide. In transition. Counter press counter, obviously. Slow the pace down. I've just done that in order to get our shape back. And hopefully the keeper then passes the ball out from the back, from the defence, a little bit better. I have found sometimes when you ask them to distribute quickly, even if you've got take short kicks on, they'll still sometimes rush it and kick it long, and we want to retain possession as much as possible. So that's why I've got that on. Out of possession, use the offside trap, plus much higher line of engagement and much higher defensive line. Force to the opposition outside, so we're trying to get that back 4 narrow as possible. 2 sitters, 3 central midfielders and the striker all nice and narrow, so it does help us with the transitions as well. I think it does also help us stopping getting counter-attacked as much, especially with 2 sitters. Asking the fullbacks to get in as well and play narrower does help us kind of force the play out wide. Use tighter marking, much more trigger press. It was a Bielsa ball tactic to start with, so we're obviously aggressive and get stuck in. All right, so that is the tactic. Links down in the description, takes you over to FM Scout. Basically, I have done a couple of scenarios with it, couple of simulations. I've done one with a non-league side, my beloved York City, probably predicted to finish around mid-table, and we finished 5th, a playoff spot. 73 goals scored and 51 conceded in those 46 games, so not bad, just shows well. I also think with simulations you only get about between 80 and 90% of the quality of the tactic, because I'm letting the assistant manager pick players, do substitutions, tweak things during the game. I often think that may affect it, but I'm really happy that it has actually worked at a non-league side. We also did one with PSG. PSG, I think, is a really good test to see how the tactic works, and it has actually worked. Obviously, worked pretty well with it being PSG, but at the same time, the results, the goals are pretty impressive. And in particular, the amount of goals conceded. So we've won the league, as you can see. No defeats, so invincible season, and 101 goals scored, only 9 conceded. Lionel Messi was playing as a central midfielder. Neymar was playing as a central midfielder as well on attack. I think Messi got 20 goals, and was it 20 goals? Neymar got himself... Neymar's not played. I think that's mainly down to the tactic. However, Messi, and he helped himself to 20 goals and 20 assists, with Kylian Mbappe obviously playing as the advanced forward, 41 goals in 36 appearances. And then I did one with Chelsea, because I thought they were like the 4th best team in the league. Obviously, Man City, Man United, Liverpool are generally the best teams in the Premier League in FM22, but I thought I would give them a go, and they've actually finished 2nd, so it does show you the tactics pretty good. 86 points. Liverpool have absolutely marched away with 97 points. Absolutely ridiculous, but it does show Chelsea are normally, I don't often see them win the league in the Premier League in the first season, so they've done quite well once again for a simulation to finish 2nd. All right, guys, we're going to dive back into my Newell save now, just to show you a few little clips of how good this tactic can be when you get it going. Okay, so here's the first goal. Long kick coming forwards. We get the possession down. As you can see, there's your 3 central midfielders linking very quickly. 2 players coming in short, and as you can see straight away, the 3rd attacker, the 3rd man run, has already set off. Marine, the advanced forward, dropping off. Couple of quick passes. Look at the 3. Because the centre forward has dropped off, it's created a little bit of space, and then basically here we've got a 3v3 against the opponent's back 4. Sakira, the left-sided centre midfielder, going nice and wide, and it's a really good finish. By the way, that is the half-back getting into the area. But just interestingly, the 2 positions of the 2 full-backs, there you can see nice and narrow, and I think it sometimes does help with recycling possession if you're trying to play around when we're still trying to work it into the box, but at the same time, just there in case there's any counter-attacks. Normally you would get your half-back, sort of like in these areas, but he's decided to get himself in the box that time and score. Okay, and the next one's a bit of a third-man run, so there is our 2 sitters. There is 1 central midfielder, 2 central midfielders, 3 central midfielders. Sforza is going to be the goal scorer, guys, so just keep a little eye on him. So we play ball-playing defenders. There is the Fernandez making a back 3. 1, 2, I suppose even a back 4. We've got our left wing back. See, he gets forward, but he is quite narrow. And on the right-hand side, we've got Flores, the other wing back. We'll just put it back on Sforza so you can see his run. Basically, a couple of passes, quick passes between Castro and Sekera. Sforza, look at the space. Now Sforza's going to hit. Boom. Lovely pick out from the halfback. Take more risks. I think it's important player instruction for that to make him a little bit of a playmaker. Sforza is in, and he scores. Okay, and one thing I do like about this tactic, because of the tempo, I think it's really important to get these, because we're playing quite narrow, I think these passes need to be quick, and as you can see, we've done 3, 4 very quick passes in there to score that goal, so I think that's why the tempo is really, really quick. I think if it was a lower tempo, we'd find it really hard to break the team down. I think the tempo that we play with creates these opportunities a little bit more often. And then once again, the amount of third-man runs we get from this is incredible. Little passes in around the area. There's Sforza, Castro, 2 central midfielders, Marin into the striker, and then the third-man run in Sekera running off to finish it. He's the left-sided centre midfielder. And then once again, it's getting the ball back high up the pitch. Look how tight it is in there, but we're still going to play very quick. Lofton, it's 1 touch as well. Touch and pass, and Marin, the striker, is in. He's fed off so many of those goals this season. Getting passes played through by the 3 central midfielders. And then here we are, one of the fullbacks getting into wide areas, you see. But instead of crossing it, they work it. Low cross in, and there is Marin to finish. Okay, so 3 central midfielders on attack. If you're still playing FM22, go down and give it a download. Let me know how you get on. You know, if you're playing a Man United with an Eriksen, Fernandez, works perfectly. Manchester City as well with the central midfielders. They've got Kevin De Bruyne on central midfielder on attack. And as I said, it does work in lower league because it did quite well with York City in the Vanarama National League. All right, guys, that's it for FM22. Make sure you've subscribed to the channel for all the stuff coming out for FM23, including live streams. I am live streaming this Newell's All Boys save tonight from 8:30. All right, guys, take care. Smash a like on today's video, and we'll see you in FM23. Take care.